So today we are not going to talk about what we talked about already last time. For example, last time we were talking about that when two straight lines intersect, they are going to form the angles they are going to form. So we talked about two angles. Of course, we talked about the 90 degrees angle when they are perpendicular to each other. And we also talked about these are the angles that are called supplementary angles. So we are not going to talk about that much because we've already covered these things in the previous video. So if you did not watch that previous video, make sure that you watch it. But there's something important for us that we talked about when we were drawing this. We just said that when the angles are adjacent, adjacent means next to each other. So adjacent angles, they are supplementary, which means they are supposed to add up to 180 degrees. We said that in our previous video. And today, we want to concentrate on those that are opposite. Look at this. These ones are next to each other. And we said these are supplementary. But these ones that are opposite to each other, what are they? That's what we are going to talk about today. So let's get started. So we want to talk about the angles that we call the vertical opposite angles. Vertical opposite or vertically opposite angles. So what kind of angles are vertically opposite? The angles that are vertically opposite are like when you see this one this side, and then there's the other one the other side, right? When you go straight, right, straight, then A and C are vertically opposite. And if I go this, they are also vertically opposite. So which angles exactly are vertically opposite in this case? B and D are vertically opposite angles. A and C are also vertically opposite angles. So when two straight lines are meeting, we can have vertically opposite angles, and those vertically opposite angles are equal. In other words, we are saying because B is vertically opposite to D, they are also equal. And because A is vertically opposite to C, A and C are also equal. Right? A and C are also equal. So that's about vertical opposite angles. All right. A and B are not vertically opposite. I think you can see that. A and B are adjacent angles. So remember adjacent angles that we're talking about. Adjacent means next to each other. If you still remember that table that we had, adjacent angles. This guy is here and this one is here. They are opposite to each other. They are equal. But this guy who is sitting next to this one, these ones are not equal. They are supplementary because these are adjacent. Adjacent means next to each other. But these two guys are what? Are opposite. I think you understand what we're talking about. Adjacent, next to each other. But opposite, it means that the other one is the other side. So for the adjacent angles here, we can have A and B are adjacent because they are next to each other. B and C are also adjacent. Then C and D are also adjacent, and A and D are also adjacent. So why do you need to know this before you start doing any calculation? Is because the angles that you'll be calculating are all going to take the way of calculating them from the understanding of the relationship between the angles. Are they adjacent angles? Are they next to each other or are they opposite? It's going to give you a clue on how you are going to deal with them, right? So in this case, we already know that when the angles are opposite, they are supposed to be equal. And the reason is because they are vertical opposite angles. But when they are adjacent, are they equal? No, they are not equal. You hear in adjacent, there's a sound. It can help you remember adjacent angles on a straight line are supplementary. Supplementary adjacent angles are supplementary. So it can help you like try to understand that for adjacent angles on a straight line, they are not equal, but they are supplementary. Supplementary means they should add to 180. In other words, A plus B is supposed to give me 180 degrees because A and B are adjacent angles on a straight line. Same with B plus C. They are also supposed to give me 180 degrees. Why? Because they are also adjacent. They are next to each other on a straight line. Then C plus D are also adjacent. Why? Because they are also straight. They are also adding up to 180. They are supplementary because they are adjacent angles on a straight line. That's the same with A plus D. They are also supposed to give us 180 degrees. Why? Because they are adjacent angles on a straight line. Is that understandable? Yes, we just need you to understand the relationship between the two angles that you are given. Are they next to each other or are they opposite each other? If they are next to each other, then they are supplementary. They should add to 180. If they are next to each other, they should add to 180. They are next to each other on a straight line. Please note that we are talking about on a straight line. So they are adjacent angles on straight line. So because of that, we know that these angles, they are supplementary. So let's have a couple of examples so that we see if we've grasped the concept that we are trying to share here.